My name is Floyd Griffin. I'm from Milledgeville. I have a number of former positions I was in. I've served 23 years in the Army, flew helicopters in Vietnam, and retired and moved back to my hometown, Milledgeville. I am a former state senator, former mayor, and a business owner.
That's amazing. And thank you, first and foremost, for your service. That means a lot that you are still, advocating in various ways for your country as well as your state and your city. So thank you for that. Thank you. So with your military and HBCU experience, because you did attend Tuskegee University.
Yes, big T-U.
How did all of those experiences prepare you for your career in politics?
Well, first of all, when I left Milledgeville going off to Tuskegee, I was a boy. When I left Tuskegee, I was a man. And the experiences at Tuskegee, being involved in the civil rights movement and the election process, the first black student killed in the civil rights movement was a Tuskegee alum. And the first black sheriff in the Deep South came out of Tuskegee, Macon County, and was also a student of Tuskegee. Wow. And I worked on his campaign. The military really made me who I am today. It taught me to persevere, deal with people of all races and ethnicity. It taught me leadership and management, because see, this campaign is about leadership, management, and who has the best experience to take on the challenge that we are facing with the Secretary of State. And I am the best person to do that.
Thank you for that. You've accomplished a lot of firsts, which you've mentioned before, during your political career. Can you just tell us specifically what they were so that the audience kind of gets a better understanding of some of the historical things you've done?
Well, when I was in the military, 5 times over the 23 years I was in the military, I was the first African American in those positions. And they were not minor positions. They were very important leadership and management positions. And then after getting out of the service, running for the state senate, there were 2 firsts in running for that seat and winning. First of all, becoming the first African American mayor of the 25th district, which consisted of 10 counties in Middle Georgia. Now, that election also made me the first African American in modern times to be elected in a rural, majority white legislative district, both the House and the Senate. And then a few years later, after running for lieutenant governor, which I didn't win.
But you did it. Let's give you credit for doing it. You ran for it.
But becoming the first black mayor of the old capital city of Milledgeville, and that was strictly big time.
Wow. When you say strictly big time, kind of point out some of the reasons why that was huge.
Well, Milledgeville is the old capital city of Georgia. At the time I was elected, the city had been around 199 years, and so that meant that the 200th year, the bicentennial, I was the mayor to plan for that whole piece. And then just having a black mayor in a city as historical as Milledgeville, and most of your black mayors at that time, they were mayors of predominantly black cities.
Right.
So that's why it was super fantabulous.
Now, you mentioned running for lieutenant governor as well as your experience in the state senate. Just explain how that prepared you for campaigning for this position, Secretary of State of Georgia.
Very good question. Running for lieutenant governor, there was about 7 of us in the race, and 4 of us were in the Senate together.
Right.
The person that won that seat was Mark Taylor, who was the lieutenant governor for 2 terms. And by the way, Mark and I were good friends, still good friends. We didn't allow him defeated me to cause any problems. And Mark has come out and endorsed my campaign as lieutenant governor. So running statewide in that election, although it was a number of years ago and things has changed a little bit in the state since then, in the extent of running, just prepared me from a strategic standpoint and a tactical standpoint to put this campaign together with my staff and get out and hit the ground running.
Hit the ground running, yes. Now, what issues do you plan to address if you're elected as Secretary of State?
Well, there are several issues, but we also need to understand that the Secretary of State is more than elections. And that's what most people understand about the Secretary of State. But the Secretary,
especially over the past couple of years here.
Yes, that's right. So the Secretary of State is responsible for obviously elections, corporations, licensing, cemeteries, charities. So in each one of those categories, when I become the SEC, we will have programs around those. But let me just give you a couple of things that I want to do. As soon as the election is over, at least as soon as I'm sworn in, we have certain things we want to do within the first 90 days, and some of them within the first 180 days.
Right.
One of the things I want to do is go around the state and have a listening session to get a better handle on this 22 election, to see what some of the challenges were, some of the problems and so forth, where we can come up with solutions to try to fix those.
That's being a little more proactive versus
being
reactive.
proactive, because the point is, people ask me, well, what you going to do about the election now? I can't do anything about the election.
Right.
Okay? And the last election, that's when the Senate Bill 202 became law.
Right.
So we need to take a look at that this time around.
Yes, correct.
To determine what we need to fix. Now, a couple of quick things. I know we don't have a lot of time.
Oh, keep going.
I will appoint a woman as one of my deputy Secretary of State, because women are dedicated. They are truthful. They make organizations stronger and effective. And the reason I know that is because of my mom, my sister, and my wife being involved in our family business.
Wow.
And I could not have done some of the things that I've done in the political world if they had not been around to help work that piece. The second thing I'm going to do is set up a satellite office for me as the Secretary of State in Macon, Georgia, where we have a licensing division now. I would spend several days a month in that office where people can make an appointment to come in and see me. We talk about One Georgia.
Right.
Well, our constitutional officers need to spend some time outside of the Atlanta metropolitan area.
Yeah.
And that's
And that would make your position more accessible.
Make it more accessible. Plus, the licensing division is located in that building, and I have an opportunity to keep an eye on what they're doing and better understand what they're doing, and to make changes.
So with those things that you already know that you could implement within 90 days to 180 days after being elected Secretary of State, explain or describe what type of Secretary of State the candidate or person that is elected does the state of Georgia need right now? Because most of the concerns are about elections, but there are other issues that we have to address in this state.
Well, let's speak of the next Secretary of State.
Okay.
And what what I bring to the table.
Okay.
I bring to the table executive experience from my military career. For instance, working in the Pentagon and working with Congress in getting appropriations passed, running billion-dollar construction and contract programs around the Army's world, and going in and dealing with adversity and building credibility back into organizations. So those are just a few of the things that an executive, CEO, a corporate CEO, and that's what I see the Secretary of State as, to walk in, be ready to hit the ground running on day one, and the Secretary of State's office cannot be a training ground. And that's why I have more experience than anyone else running to be able to walk in and put that together. Now, one other thing is very important. The next Democratic Secretary of State, Floyd Griffin, is going to be taken over from a Republican administration that has been in since '07, when Kathy Cox left that position. So we got to go through a transitional period and bring all of that in and bring it to bear within a reasonable period of time. I have done that before in the military. I've done it with my family business and other organizations. See, I've served on 3 boards of trustees. And one of them is my alma mater, Tuskegee. I've served on a national board, the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, out of Washington, D.C. And so I know how to do this stuff. Okay.
That's amazing to hear, because we need more people who have the experience. So in closing, you mentioned that you are able to do some of the things that just across party lines, that's what I hear. So for you coming in, no matter who's elected governor, no matter who is in certain positions across the state, Senate, as well as House of Representatives, just talk about how you're going to lead and manage that a lot better than what we've kind of seen since maybe '07.
Well, leadership is all about relationship. Okay, and you have to build that relationship. Now, I know the Speaker of the House, if he is still there next time around, I think he doesn't have any opposition. If the governor is Stacey Abrams, you know, I know her. There will be a new lieutenant governor. I get to know the lieutenant governor. I served in the Senate. I know how the Senate operate and so forth. So on day one, matter of fact, really after I'm elected, during that transition time before the swearing in, I will start meeting with these individuals to start building that relationship and let them know some of the things that we just need to change because it makes sense. And just to give you one idea, the Secretary of State was taken off of the Board of Elections and made an ex officio. Now look, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever because the Secretary of State is the chief elected official in the state. And that person should have more than an ex officio a voice. So that's one of the first things that I want to try to get done, working with the executive leadership and working with the legislative body to get that piece changed. because that will give me more clout. It will give me the platform to do some of the things that needs to be done.
So, Mr. Griffin, you have a plan. You are working your plan. I hear it. I know our audience will receive it. So just kind of share with them how they can support your campaign and where they can find you on social media or online.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
My website is Floyd for F-O-R, GeorgiaSpelled.com. Floyd for Georgia.com. Now, what you can do 2 things for me, maybe 3. Number 1, vote for me.
Yes.
Number 2, get other people to vote for me. And number 3, just as important as the other 2, go on my website and there's a red button on there that says donate. And please, as my father used to say, money doesn't grow on trees, and I know that. So please send me a donation. I don't care how much it is.
Right.
I had a lady to send me $5.
Come on, $5.
Okay, $5. And you know what? She was surprised, and not in Georgia. She was surprised when I called her and thanked her for that $5.
Look, and that means
now
a
she's
lot.
gonna give me some more money.
Listen. Well, thank you for coming and visiting us here in our studios. We appreciate your time and good luck with your campaign.
Thank you very much.